This video is made possible by my patrons on Patreon. Hello everyone, my name is Ziamaro and welcome to Battlerite Sage. Today I want to talk about voice chat. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while, but I just never got round to making a video about it. I'm going to try and stay as fair as possible and go through all the pros and cons of this. But it should be noted that I am definitely for voice chat being added to the game. Honestly, the pros and cons are kind of simple and there's not a lot to it, but let's start out with the reasons why voice chat should be added to Battlerite. So, the number one and pretty much only reason you might want voice chat is teamwork. Battlerite is a team game. Sure, there's a duel mode, but not many people play it, and it's certainly not the focus of the game. I've made a few videos about playing with a pre-made team before, and part of what makes it so fun is being able to communicate in real time with your teammates. Right now, if you want to climb to the top of the leaderboards in solo queue, not only do you have to be mechanically brilliant, you also have to be very observant. It's your sole responsibility to keep track of all counters and outs, on both sides in some cases. But sometimes it's impossible to keep track of everything. And I'm not talking about information overload, although that can be an issue too. What I mean is, if an ally or enemy goes out of your sights for even a few seconds, you don't know what they have or haven't used while they were gone. There are some sound cues, but not all abilities are loud enough to hear. I play Paloma and Xander mainly, and both of those champions need to save their teammates when they have no outs. If I'm playing with a Shifu, I watch for his counter and immaterial. Once he's used those, I portal or other side him out of there, if he needs it of course. If he was behind a wall for any period of time, I'm not sure what he has or hasn't used while he was there. And when you're playing against highly skilled opponents, if the enemy sees Paloma use other side on Shifu when he doesn't need it, they're gonna take advantage of that, so you should only use it when it's absolutely necessary. Likewise, and this one applies to all champions, if the enemy is behind the wall for a bit, you don't know what they have or haven't used. Maybe you're a ranged DPS and your melee chases the enemy Sirius behind a wall. Suddenly the Sirius spaces back out from behind the wall, but does he have his counter? You're not sure. If he hasn't used it, you've got to be careful. If you bait it out, you'll likely score a kill. And if he does have it and you hit it, then you've blown an opportunity. Your best course of action is to presume he still has it. And that's really annoying because it might have been a perfect opportunity to score a kill if he didn't have it. And this is where team voice comes in. As a support, I would love to be able to ask my DPS if they're okay behind a wall. I could simply ask them to tell me when they have no cooldowns left, and then I other side them with full knowledge that it's well timed. Right now, just like with the does Sirius have counter scenario, it's best to presume that they have cooldowns and that they don't need other side. That might sound strange, but if you're against good opponents, and you should always presume that you are, you'll be punished for timing it badly. So it's better for them to live in fear that their ultimates are going to get other-sided than to possibly save your teammate. Which sucks for the teammate because they might have genuinely needed other side. But how the hell am I supposed to know that they have no cooldowns when I haven't seen them for the last 3 or 4 seconds? And I'm not blaming my teammates for this. Sometimes it's good to pressure people behind walls, so it's not their fault. And voice chat would solve this problem entirely. Same with the outs and counters. If an enemy Sirius spaces out from behind a wall, you can just ask your teammate whether or not they've used counter, rather than having to guess. Voice chat would make the solo queue experience a lot more tight, and honestly, it would play more like how the game is supposed to be played. Which leads me to my second point, overly aggressive solo queue heroes. This point is kind of a neutral one. Depending on which side of the fence you're on, this could be a pro or a con. These people exist at all ranks, and I mean all ranks. All the way up to GC, there are players who play way too aggressively. They play in a way that just wouldn't work in team queue. They have good aim and general mechanics, but they're the sort of people who just space in and try to burst people down. They should absolutely get punished for it, but they often don't because people don't keep track of cooldowns well enough. When you encounter these players, if you have observant teammates, you'll win easily. If your teammates have a tendency to tunnel vision, then you'll probably lose. If an older spaces in to burst the enemy healer, they should absolutely get punished for that, but so often they don't. So if you're the sort of person who relies on the enemy team tunnel visioning so you can make high risk plays, team voice would probably be a bad thing for you. If you're the sort of person who perfectly baits out Rook's abilities and then you end up 1v1ing him instead of the whole team punishing, then team voice would definitely be good for you. Now let's move on to the major downside of voice chat. Toxicity. This is the unfortunate reality of online gaming. There are already toxic people in text chat who just love to make other people feel bad about themselves when they misplay. Some of those people are good players and they just have an attitude problem. Others are actually kind of shoddy players themselves and they just can't accept their own part in a defeat. Actually, most toxic people fit into the second category. Bring in voice chat and that problem becomes even harder to ignore. Someone verbally abusing you in the middle of a round or backseat gaming while you try to clutch your 1v2 would be very annoying. If you're the sort of person who plays games to relax, then you won't want to come home for a few games of Battlerite only to be screamed at by a man-child who thinks they can go pro if only their teammates didn't suck. You could just mute them, but if you've played other games with voice chat, you'll know that people will abuse you simply for muting voice chat sometimes. Honestly, the solution to that problem is quite simple. You just don't show whether or not someone has voice chat muted. In Overwatch, you can see whether or not someone is in voice, and that creates toxicity. If someone's not going to join voice, they're not going to join voice. Showing who is and isn't in voice just breeds toxicity. So, all in all, I think the pros far outweigh the cons here. Sure, you'll get the odd game with some cretin screaming at you, but just mute those people, because the flip side is way better quality games in solo queue. Suddenly you can ask for peels as a support, or barriers as a DPS. You can tell your teammates when Rook has no counter, and the game would suddenly play like it's meant to be played. I'd actually love to hear Stunlock's stance on this. Is voice chat actually a possibility? Because I know there are a lot of people out there who would love to see it added. Let me know in the comments what you guys think as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please feel free to subscribe for more Battlerite guides, news, and discussion. If you'd like to help support the channel and get some unique rewards, then head over to patreon.com/battleritesage. And don't forget to check out twitch.tv/battleritesage. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.